welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. Today we are going to talk Thanksgiving. Last week I showed you guys how to make a turkey dinner from start to finish. This week I'm going to share with you some of our family favorites and traditional appetizers, sides, and desserts that we have every single year. I do have one appetizer, 4 side items, and a dessert recipe to share with you guys. If you've been around with my channel for a while, you may have seen 1 or 2 of these along the way, but I am going to share them with you guys on how to make each one, and I will have the recipes down below in the description box. So let's go ahead and get started. The first thing I'm going to get started with is the dessert recipe, because I do want it to have time to cool so we can eat it after dinner tonight. And there are people in my family who do not like pie. 2 of my children will not touch it with a 10-foot pole, so I make brookies. If you don't know what that is, it's brownies and cookies combined, and I'm going to show you how to do it. Brookies are super simple. You're literally just going to make the box of brownies as directed on the back, and then you're going to make one of these bags of chocolate chip cookies, or you can even buy the pre-done roll and use that. That also makes this even easier. And then just put them in a pan together and bake it off. So that's what we're gonna do. The brownie mix, just make it according to the box directions. If there are 2 different ones, one will say fudge-like or cake-like, do it the cake-like that has the 3 eggs. Make sure you spray your pan, otherwise it will stick. And then just put the whole batter in there, spread it out into an even layer, and set this aside. Now move on to the cookie part. Just make sure your butter is soft, otherwise you're not going to be able to do this. It will not mix right, and it does take a bit for this to come together anyways. Now just take rounded tablespoons and just put them all over the top of this thing. If you're OCD and want to put them in lines, that's perfectly fine. Otherwise, your goal is just to get them all over the top. Once you do that, you're going to bake this at 350. It's going to take about 40 minutes, but just watch it and use a toothpick. When it comes out clean, it's done. The brookies are in the oven, so now I'm going to get started on the casserole so they can go in as soon as that comes out. The first I'm going to make is the corn casserole. That thing, if you've ever looked it up, it's a Jiffy cornbread casserole. So good. It's this little company right here. Delicious. We make it every year. There's a couple different variations on it. I'm going to show you ours. And then the next one I'm going to make is a broccoli casserole. My mother makes it every year because it's my brother's absolute favorite Thanksgiving side dish. So I'm going to show you guys how we make that as well. Oh, forgot, I've got a pot back here because I'm actually going to boil some eggs, because I'm going to show you my family's deviled eggs. That's the appetizer I'm making today. We're Florida, we're South. Deviled eggs are a must on Thanksgiving. Back here before I even turn it on, I just have 6 in there tonight because I'm not going to do a whole lot. But what I am going to do is I'm going to salt my water because it helps the eggs to peel, as well as I'm going to throw a little baking soda. And then, as y'all know, my kids love to help in the kitchen. I found this little guy at Aldi months ago. My son helps me cook, so I throw that in there while the water's still off, and that will show us when the eggs are completely done. First up is the broccoli casserole. This could not be easier if you tried. You literally just need a thing of Velveeta, a stick of butter, some Ritz crackers, and broccoli. This is 30 ounces. My mom swears by these little boxes that we can get at Publix, and they're 10 ounces each, and she uses the chopped broccoli. If it was my choice, I would not use this one. I would use the broccoli florets, but this is our family tradition, so this is what I will use. Put the broccoli straight from the freezer into a big pot on the stove, and just keep it on like medium high heat, just until it's all warmed through and has broken apart. While that's in the pot, go ahead and cut your entire stick of Velveeta. It doesn't have to be pretty, you're just cutting it small enough so it will all melt. Then you're gonna take Ritz crackers. I usually use either 1 of the long ones or 3 of these short little Stay Fresh packs. Beat it up, get it really fine. 1 stick of butter melted. Pour that into a big bowl and mix all this up together. Once your broccoli's broken apart and warm, put the whole thing of cheese in there and keep going until that's completely melted and mixed together. Pour that into a 13 by 9 pan and then take the cracker butter mixture and spread it all over the top. This will go in the oven with the other casserole in a few minutes. I want to show you what the little egg timer does. If you see it's looking more and more white on the outside, that's for soft boiled, and then medium boiled, and then hard boiled, there'll just be a little orange dot left in the middle. It's really neat. The little egg timer is purely white, but I will show you another way if you don't have one of those to know if your eggs are completely hard boiled. Just take an egg out of the pot, put it on the counter, and spin it. If it spins, it's done. Try this with a raw egg and you will not be able to spin it. Then go ahead and drain the eggs. I have to take my timer out because it has to cool completely on its own, but use ice cold water and even put ice in the water with the eggs. The broccoli casserole is complete. Now we're gonna move on to the corn casserole. It's pretty much just a dump and go, and the only step you have to do ahead of time, oh, and there's the brookies, and the only step you have to do ahead of time is melt 1 stick of butter. Corn casserole is easy. Put 1 box of the Jiffy in a bowl. Then you're going to put 2 eggs, my daughter already cracked my egg, a whole can of cream style corn, a small container of sour cream, 1 can of whole kernel corn that you have drained, and then an entire stick of butter, but go ahead and do this part slowly because there are raw eggs in here, and if you put hot butter into eggs, you're gonna cook them. Spray your pan, and then pour this mixture completely in it, and then both of these casseroles will go in the oven together, 350 for 45 minutes. Moving back onto our eggs, go ahead once you've peeled them, cut them in half and put all the yolks into a bowl, squish them down, and then for our mixture, if you're making more eggs, this was only a half a dozen, so if you're gonna make more than that, double this. It's just basically about a tablespoon of mustard, 3 tablespoons of mayo, about a teaspoon of dill relish, make sure it's dill, salt and pepper, mix it up. Double all that, of course, if you are going for a full dozen or even more than that. I put it in a little bag just to help me get it into the eggs a little more evenly, and then take some paprika, sprinkle it all over the top, and these are done. Moving on to our sweet potatoes. I have 4 good sized ones here. Wash them, peel them, and chop them up. They're pretty decent sized pieces. You don't have to go through anything too big or too small. Put them in a pot, completely submerged, wood spoon on top so they don't boil over. Sweet potatoes are boiling back there, and the casseroles are still in the oven. Now I'm gonna work on the carrots. In a pot, just put 1 stick of butter. I am using real butter here, not margarine like I've been using for the other ones. A 1/4 cup of brown sugar, and the entire pack of carrots. Just put this on a medium and let it go. It's gonna go for a little while, and it's all gonna caramelize and reduce, and just keep it back there until the carrots are tender. Even when it's bubbling like this, just let it keep going. It's gonna caramelize deliciously. Get your sweet potatoes until they're fork tender. Then you're going to drain these completely. In the sweet potatoes, put 1 stick of margarine and 1/3 cup of brown sugar. That's all my mom puts, but you can always doctor this up more for your liking, and then mash them up like you would mashed potatoes. My family does sweet potatoes 2 different ways. If my mom is making it, this is where we stop. If my sister-in-law is making it, it gets the marshmallows and honey and stuff like that on top. But for tonight, we're gonna do my mom's, and we're just gonna stop here because this is the way the kids prefer it. When the carrots are tender, transfer them to another bowl, put a good drizzle of honey over the top, and these are done. I didn't want to serve just sides to the kids for dinner tonight, so we did pick up a rotisserie chicken, and I don't know if anybody else has this little tradition, but my husband and I, every year for Thanksgiving, we get the wishbone out of the turkey, and if we have whole chickens throughout the year at any point, we also take the wishbone out of that. So we're gonna let this dry for a couple days and then go ahead and actually do the wishbone tradition. So that's just something cute we do. I figured I'd ask and see if anybody else does that too. Okay, but that's gonna do it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Maybe got a few new recipes to try with your family this year. Start a new tradition. These are ours dating back as far as I can actually remember. So it's been a very long time we've been doing these, except the brookies. I did add that one in when my kids were growing up because they are not pie fans. And my brother is a big fan of brownies, so I decided to go ahead and try and change it up a little bit, and here came the brookies. If you guys like this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel if you're not already, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Good night.